the testimonials about negative impacts from bad teachers is a serious bummer. But on a lighter note, we learned that Deborah Ball goes to Bar 3 class and she shops for makeup at MAC. So Deborah has just talked about the 20 examples of teacher discretion in a minute and 28 seconds of classroom time and the risks that discretion carries. 20 examples of discretion in a minute 28, that sounds stressful, but I've felt it and seen it watching some of these videos of Kathy's classroom for sure. And now she's digging into what regularly fills the discretionary spaces in teaching, and I want to point out number 2, normalized practices in schools that institutionalize dominant values and habits in the school environment. So now she's talking about the normalized practices in schools that institutionalize dominant values and habits. As a student, as a kid growing up in public school in the U.S., even though I lived in several different states and places, from urban schools in Southern California to a Rust Belt town in Ohio to a very small rural community that I went to high school in Missouri. All of these dominant values and habits in the school environment worked in my favor, toward my advantage. All of the decks were stacked for me, not against me as a white, straight, cisgendered, able-bodied male. I'm watching the video with Deborah teaching and the interaction going on between Anaya and Tony, and she's asking, what would you do next? I honestly don't know. Ooh, I have an idea now, and I pretty much am stealing it from Kathy from the video that we watched of her this week. You could ask Tony, Tony, can you pose a question for Anaya's explanation that the rest of the class can consider? Is that good? I don't know. I just watched Brandon talk about his teacher, Miss Smith, who made a positive impact on his life, and he mentioned code switching and school talk, and I thought that code switching would be an interesting topic to include in this discussion that we're having as a class. It's also a great podcast on NPR.